It's the 2K Sports Pregame Show.
Welcome, NBA fans. Ernie Johnson here with you again, and we've got Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal, and we're all amped up for this early season game. Tonight's broadcast will feature the Milwaukee Bucks as they go up against the San Antonio Spurs. Well, for San Antonio, they're just above 500 after their first 10 games, at 6-4 to be exact. They haven't set the world on fire, but there has been more good than bad, that's for sure. And guys, when people talk about the Spurs, they talk about consistency, from the front office to the coaching staff to the effort on the floor. Take a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge. He embodies that, doesn't he, Kenny?
Yes, he does. He's got great scoring. He's got great footwork in the block. The art of the mid-range jump shot is still there, but he can pick and pop and pick and roll, Shaq.
You know, he always finds a way to impact the game with his shot. When he's on like Texas barbecue, Ernie.
Ooh, Texas barbecue.
That wraps it up from here. Thanks for joining us.
I'm hungry.
We'll see you later.
We'll be bringing you an interconference matchup in this one as the Spurs come into town. Bringing you some fun on a Monday night. It's the NBA on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan with Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg and our sideline reporter David Aldridge. It's a one-game reprieve at home for the Bucks, here with their Milwaukee fans, and then back on the road. After dropping the first 3 games of the season, they need to turn it around.
And I think for Milwaukee, hanging where they are, right in the middle of the standings, will not make things easy for them down the stretch.
Well, it figures to be a hectic finish to the season as they attempt to lock down a postseason berth. They've got very little margin for error the rest of the way.
We are nearly ready for the tip-off, but first, let's hear from our very own David Aldridge. DA, it's all yours.
Well, guys, Giannis Antetokounmpo came to the NBA as an unheralded 19-year-old from Greece, but he's been a quick study at the NBA level. One reason? He actually takes notes. He said, "We all make mistakes and your mind can't remember them all. I write what I did wrong and what worked. I'm going to keep it going. Someday I'll have a collection." And with that dedication, Kevin, the sky is the limit for the Greek Freak.
Boy, that's fascinating stuff, DA. Thank you so much. What better way to learn from your mistakes? Clark, I know that coaches have specific things they're looking to see this early in the season from their team.
Yeah, I think you want to see players figuring out how to make the most of their talents. You want to help them figure out how best to plug into what their teammates are doing and who they are as individual players. And then you also want to see your team find ways to assert their will on the game, either offensively with pace or defensively with aggression.
Ready?
So the Bucks win the tip, and the starting group for the Spurs. Aldridge is at the 4 with Gasol at the 5. Murray and Green team up to make the backcourt, and it's Anderson and it's small forward. Basket is good, and he'll get a chance for one more at the free throw line. So it'll be Giannis Antetokounmpo shooting. That's on LaMarcus Aldridge. Clark, what is amazing about how Giannis plays is how much ground he can cover. It's like he shrinks the floor with how long and tall he is, and his stride when going end-to-end or just attacking the basket.
Agreed. And how about this? I mean, he's Euro-stepping at 7 feet tall. I mean, that's like a dance move, and this guy's doing it with ease. His size and movement and grace looks like at times he's on another planet playing against the best players in the world. The Greek Freak has set a standard on what it means to have elite athleticism in the NBA that very few can match.
And Clark, as a Midwest guy, you grew up watching your teams go up against the Bucks, and even as a player, you faced off against them more than your fair share. When you think about the history of the Milwaukee Bucks, who leaves an imprint on your mind for how they help that franchise?
Well, guys that I actually played against, Sid Moncrief would be at the top of the list because he was so integral to the Bucks' success. Really good at both ends of the floor, a leader. I didn't have to guard him, but I played against those really good Bucks teams in the early mid-'80s, and he was a big part of that.
The shot's good. 1:10 left here in the first quarter. It's Antetokounmpo on the wing. He feeds it to Maker. Bucks passing it around. It's stolen by Green. From 6 feet. And the rejection by Antetokounmpo.
And the long reach of Antetokounmpo, I mean, stretches for days. And because of that, he's excellent at challenging shots.
Now, here's Brogdon. He had a 21-point outing in their last game against Detroit.
And his passing also off the charts in that game. In just about every aspect of their offense, he was dialed in.
Gasol a screen. Here's Murray, and he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2. It goes on Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Spurs shooting their first free throws of the game.
Shoot 2.
Throw good, Murray. And some changes here for the Bucks. John Henson comes in for Thon Maker. Eric Bledsoe is subbed in for Brogdon. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Laverne, he's checked in for Gasol. Davis Bertans comes in for LaMarcus Aldridge. Rudy Gay's checked in for Kyle Anderson. And it's Mills in for Danny Green. He hits both from the stripe. And in the first, a little over a minute and a half in. Here's Snell. He's covered by Murray. We've got 13 seconds left in the first. Bledsoe outside. Just 5 to shoot. Poked away. Mills. No good there. And still a close game as the first quarter comes to a close. Spurs lead by 1. Let's take a quick break now, and then it's on to the second quarter after this. Neither team able to build much of a lead up to this point as we start the second quarter. And taking a look at San Antonio's performance here. What do you think they've been doing or not doing?
Hustling on that offensive glass. That's led to a number of second chance points.
And we know energy and effort go hand in hand, and they won't be denied playing with a bunch of energy, easily coming up with those offensive rebounds too.
On offense, here are the Spurs. They come into this having outplayed Phoenix the last game.
And once they established that flow offensively, really never got any resistance from the D.
And you know, Greg, they were sinking shots left and right, and that's got to be demoralizing for the defense. They were in a real zone.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups, courtesy of Gatorade, as the second quarter gets going. On the court right now for the Spurs, Mills and Manu at the guards. Then there's Rudy Gay, and there's Laverne, and it's Bertans in the power forward position. The Spurs offense, one of the most efficient in the NBA. It's all predicated, Greg, on motion.
And it's ball movement and player movement. They kind of want to warp the defense and force mistakes, and that's when they strike.
Shots good by Bledsoe.
Well, I tell you what, they've got to be fuming. I mean, they were way too late in contesting that layup.
Here's the screen. And Laverne kicks to Bertans. Mills with it, now guarded by Bledsoe. Stolen by Bledsoe.
If they play it right, we're talking a 2-for-1.
Well, you're maximizing your possessions. That's the critical thing here, and they've got to make sure the timing is right, though.
Mills in the corner. No good with the triple. The Bucks trail. It's 9 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock.
I like seeing Middleton throw it down like that. Boy, he's a great athlete, and he finishes with a little style, too.
And Mills kicks to Bertans. Pass to Mills from outside the arc. Rebounded by the Bucks. This game coming after a loss against the Pistons.
Tough night. I mean, they attacked on both ends, and unfortunately for them, they just got called for a lot of fouls.
Yeah, they were too physical and a little bit out of position. They were rough out there, but ultimately the physicality led to fouls, and that hurt them.
And a pretty tightly contested game here as we end the first half. The Bucks on top, leading by a point. And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thank you, Kevin. Here with Chris Middleton. Chris, it seemed like you all were dictating tempo in the first half. How did you do that?
Okay, we're getting the stops, grabbing the rebound now, just trying to push it, try to get the best shot available.
Problem solved in transition. Thanks for your time. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. And we'll be back after halftime as the third quarter gets underway.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
We so hope you enjoyed our first half. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. This is the halftime report. A competitive matchup for Milwaukee in the first quarter. Some good action during the period, as it was just a one-point game at the end of one. They had a slight edge on the scoreboard in the second quarter, but only by the slimmest of margins. Kenny, your thoughts on the Bucks' first half?
They were really efficient on offense, shared the basketball well, great shot selection. That accounted for a high field goal percentage in the first half.
Shaq, let's get your thoughts on San Antonio.
Well, on offense, I like to see them play inside out more. Attack the basket, generate easy points. And then once the defense collapses, kick it out to the perimeter for open looks. Trust me, I know. Rick Fox, Big Shot Bob, that's all we did.
And now, folks, just moments away from the start of the third quarter.
Welcome back, everyone. The second half about to get underway, and it's been a close one so far. You have to like what we're seeing from Antetokounmpo.
And when everyone's keying on you, you have a choice. Become passive or just work that much harder. He consistently chooses the latter.
And, you know, Greg, that's the kind of effort you see from great players. I mean, the will, just unrelenting will, not backing down.
Well, both sides have assessed what they need to do over the break in halftime. We'll see now if one can pull out a way here in the third. And the Bucks defense, not one of the strongest in the NBA, but they did a great job of creating turnovers. They didn't get a stop every time, but boy, they would often create offense with their defense.
Yeah, exactly. When you're not a strong half-court defensive team, being able to force turnovers and score off those can really be effective. And most teams are hard to guard in transition, and this Bucks team was exceptional in transition.
They've got Chris Middleton, Baker out there with Antetokounmpo. Then there's Malcolm Brogdon, and it's Snell in at the shooting guard. That's the 5 to begin the second half for Jason Kidd. Now here's Anderson, following the miss by Giannis Antetokounmpo. Anderson passes to Murray. Shoots over Brogdon. LaMarcus Aldridge again. Aldridge has got the lead up to 3 now for the Spurs.
Defensive rebounding, just such a crucial part of the game.
Yeah, it's finishing your defense, Greg. We know that. You can defend, then you got to rebound the miss, and you got to get to the glass with intensity.
And you know what? You can't get a better screen. Frees him up beautifully, but he just fails to capitalize.
Clearly a frustrating missed opportunity there. Perfect screen, got him the space he needed, but he bricked it.
There's Brogdon following the basket by LaMarcus Aldridge. Baker dishes to Antetokounmpo over Aldridge. Antetokounmpo can't get that one to fall. Spurs leading by 5. Shot and game clock separated by 5. Now Murray. To the paint. Over Antetokounmpo. Some solid defense from Antetokounmpo.
And that's the shot you want to create. They just can't get it to fall.
That's what I call an everything but. Good execution, just didn't knock it down. But
got it! Got it! What a shot!
Wow, what a miracle heave to finish off the quarter. How'd he get that one to go?
I don't know, but I think that's a 2% shot. He'd make 2 out of 100 of those if you gave them to him.
And so it's the San Antonio Spurs in the driver's seat, up 8 points at the end of the quarter. Well, they trailed by a bunch, but once they got going, the comeback was on. And we'll be right back after this. A chance now to hear Jason Kidd talking to his team moments ago.
One possession at a time.
No offensive rebounds and help and talk to each other on defense.
Defensive rebounding, a big emphasis for Coach Jason Kidd, and something he'll obviously continue to harp on.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If you start giving it up on the offensive glass, very few good things are going to happen to your team, and that becomes really deflating.
Welcome back. Fourth quarter action starting up. 2K Sports, happy to have you with us. On the floor for San Antonio, starting the fourth quarter, we've got LaMarcus Aldridge. Rudy Gay is out there with Anderson. Then there's Murray, and it's Forbes in at the 2 spot.
You know, his positioning near the hoop, always to his advantage. Just a terrific job to tip that one back in.
Here's Aldridge. Rebounded by the Bucks.
And he's just a tough defender. Good positioning to get after that shot.
Did a good job guarding the mid-range, extended out nicely, and definitely bothered the shot.
Here's Antetokounmpo, the turnaround jumper. Count it. Now just a 4-point Spurs lead.
And Antetokounmpo demonstrating his in-between game, that mid-range game. Looks very self-assured when he gets the ball in that area of the court.
The wide open look here for Aldridge. Gets an open look and hits. And the Spurs lead by 6.
And when he squares up, his height makes him a tough assignment.
Yeah, and he knows how to utilize that size. He takes advantage of it. And that's why he's able to take his time on these shots, because he knows he has that extra height advantage.
Looking at who's out there now for the Bucks. Chris Middleton comes in for Mirza Teletovic. And it's Eric Bledsoe in for Malcolm Brogdon. Timeout called, the Bucks. They're behind by 6. 51 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Now we've got a moment for our Jordan player of the game, LaMarcus Aldridge.
And when a player scores over half his team's points, you know he's going to be our pick. Even when he's been the exclusive focus of the defense, they just haven't been able to keep him in check. A tremendous individual effort.
He gets a chance now to catch up with the fourth member of our crew, Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Well, I was able to listen in on what Jason Kidd went over with his team. He said we've got to pick it up right here, right now. If we're going to win this game, we have to take control. This is the time. Kevin.
Antetokounmpo kicks to Snell. Buries it. And now they trail by just 4.
And the vision of the Greek Freak easily spotting his wide open teammates thanks to that height of his.
And now they decide to foul intentionally. 36 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And that's an intentional foul. Good on the first, and that puts them up by 5. Second one is good. Hitting both at the line, and it's a 6-point ball game.
And no mistakes there. Good free throws to give them just a little bit more cushion.
Lets it fly from 18. Money!
Yeah, I love the communication and the chemistry between those teammates.
5 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. And they go to the intentional foul. He hits the first one, and that puts them up by 5. And so he drops them both. It's a 6-point ball game. Now a timeout called by Milwaukee. They trail by 6. There's 21 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Guys, your thoughts?
And they still got a little time to play with, so a 3 and a quick foul could make things interesting.
Yeah, but they need some help. They're going to need some help any way you look at it. I mean, they're hoping for some missed free throws at the other end.
Feeds to Snell. Bledsoe left side over Murray. Sinks it. And now they trail by just 4. 16 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. And they foul intentionally. That's what they have to do at this point.
Honestly, just doing what they have to in order to get the basketball back.
That's a good foul, though. I like that. I mean, clock management crucial at this time of the game.
First free throw is good, and that puts them up by 5.
And one thing you can say about Green, I don't know of too many players who are as dependent on their three-point shot as he is. He needs that shot to be falling for him to make an impact.
Bledsoe for 3. Rebounded by the Spurs. And an intentional foul right there. Good on the first, and that makes it a 7-point lead. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's an 8-point game. Dellavedova kicks to Teletovic. Here's Antetokounmpo. And so it's San Antonio with the win. They came in here and took care of business like they were the home team.
And Kevin, how about the mental toughness that this group showed? They were never rattled at all by the opposing fans.
And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thank you, Kevin. Danny, a strong defensive effort both individually and team. Now, how comfortable are you at that end of the floor now, knowing that you can make things tough on the opposition?
Well, we want to make them take tough shots. We're not comfortable at any point defensively, but we got to continue to be active and be aggressive and get our hands on loose balls.
It's been the mark of the Spurs for a long time, Danny. Thanks. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. Thank you for joining us. That'll do it for now. For Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching the NBA, presented by 2K Sports. We'll see you later.